There's the big bag full of coronavirus testing kits, as you can see. Soldiers coming along to... And I have serious issues. There's a QR code thing you need to get from the coronavirus app before you're allowed to come and do your test. And it's very easy now to have a digital fingerprint. Who's had the test, who's not had the test, who's gonna have the vaccine, who's not gonna have the vaccine, who's got antibodies, who's not got antibodies, who's allowed on a plane, who's not allowed on a plane. It begins. Hi everyone. Today's the 28th of May. It's almost June. Can you believe this has been going on for so long? And today is the Charlie Veitch coronavirus update. Live. Well, not live, you're watching this pre-recorded. We are here outside the council buildings, the big J. Edgar Hoover FBI headquarters. We're here at the council buildings in Swinton in Greater Manchester. And yesterday, the army trucks arrived and set up a COVID-19 testing facility here. Now, as you saw in the intro, there's signs saying no photography, blah, blah, blah. I already had a soldier try and tell me to stop filming. I said I could, and I guess he wasn't in the mood to get his rifle out and commit an act of war. What's that thing in America where you're not allowed to have troops on the street, posse comitatus, or am I getting all mixed up from my Alex Jones days? Anyway, so a couple of highlights. They're not good highlights, they're bad highlights. First one is per capita, as a ratio of chunks of the population, the United Kingdom, Great Britain, England, Britain, it has the highest rate of confirmed coronavirus cases in the world. That's without lying. The good thing about being in a kind of slightly open parliamentary democracy like the United Kingdom is that there's lots of competing checks and balances. You're not, you know, there's a lot of whistleblowing going on. Things are getting leaked. Everything gets leaked, and no one goes to jail. No one gets executed for leaking. Often they get praised. So they get leaked to the press, leaked to the media, leaked to the public, leaked on social media. So in Britain, I reckon they're not cooking the books too bad, because people would find out. But China, now China, there's your true coronavirus king, the king of China. So coming back to the UK, we're now at, well, as a per million, per capita, we have the highest rate in the world. I think Sweden as well, for such a small country. What's the population of Sweden? I don't know, is it 3 million? Is it 6 million like Scotland? They're also like number 10 in the world. They're not doing well. Herd immunity, you know, I still believe, and this is weird, Mr. Randy Pan, the non-medical man here. I don't think there's going to be a vaccine. I don't think this is going to go away. So for me, we just need to let the 7%, I guess, get cleared without sounding insensitive. If there's no vaccine on the way, if everyone's going to get this fucking thing, let's just have this fight now, because this is going to drag on for years. Is anyone else really sick of queuing in the supermarket and having, you know, retail people tell you where to stand, where you got it wrong, you got the wrong trolley in the wrong queue, you got to go to the back, you're standing too close. It's hot and sweaty today, 24 degrees. So what I want to also talk about kind of goes hand in hand. China has been cracking down on research and news crews trying to figure out the origins of COVID-19. It's kind of now unofficial officialdom that it started in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. They had many different samples from the horseshoe-faced bat, many different influenzas from bats, and one of them escaped because they weren't taking the BSL 4, biosafety level 4 thing very seriously. And China, yesterday, I don't know how they did it, the Hong Kong Parliament, which I think was modeled on the British Parliament, they've now voted to give Beijing access to people who are arrested, so you can get sent to mainland China from Hong Kong to be fucked over by the commie fascists. And I think Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State or Foreign Secretary, some American government guy, he is now questioning whether Hong Kong is an autonomous region, or is Hong Kong now just another city in China? So it's very sad to see the police emboldened yesterday. There was hundreds of arrests in Hong Kong, in the city centre. They're firing rubber bullets, pepper spray, arresting willy-nilly. Even Amnesty International, the UN got in saying this is an excessive use of force against everyone. There were kids, prams, people in wheelchairs getting caught up in it. Speaking of wheelchairs, did any of you guys see that granny allegedly armed with a knife stabbing black looters in Minneapolis? That story, we expanded to an arrest. There's a bad arrest. What was his name? George Floyd. There's a 45-year-old black guy arrested for whatever reason, and he was handcuffed on his belly, and the police killed him by asphyxiating him to death. And there have been riots, and just like a lot of these things, the politics gets lost in the chaos, and it's just riots for the sake of rioting. Now, let's move on to a slightly different location here, because I've done 5 minutes here. Let's move on. You see the soldiers there, you see the COVID-19. As the cars come up, they shout at them, "Do you have your QR code?" Because I guess you need to download the NHS tracker app to say, I am a item of livestock in need of the sheep dip. And then once you've had that, you got your code, they can then brand you on your ass with a nice branding iron, and you're off to go. You're allowed to fly. We've got Army wearing Ghostbuster kits, disinfecting away. Can you see that? With his thingy. Hi, mate. Bit of disinfectant?
Yeah, mate.
So I strayed into their big car park area, and two soldiers shouting at me, "This is a high-risk area, very high-risk area." Now the question is, you need to have if this was a high-risk area, would they put it in the town hall in the middle of a town centre here at the capital of Salford, where there's a lot of people not only driving past but also walking past? You know, I think that the virus, for the elderly, for the very old, for the people with serious underlying health conditions, yeah, of course, isolate. But it's starting to become a bit clown worldy again now, and I thought the virus was going to be the thing that stopped clown world. It's just created a new mask for clown world.